welcome back to this channel again. God bless you for following our teachings, for following our discussion. God bless you. You're welcome again. Now, the last time we talked about faith, foolishness, and fantasy, and we are trying to look at our faith working by love. That the foundation for the workings of our faith, whatever you want to believe, has to work by love. And we looked at love towards God and love towards our fellow humans. Faith works by love. And then whatever it is that you call faith that you are exercising. I'm not talking about the foundation of faith now. This is a series on Christian conduct. We are just trying to check ourselves so that we'll put our conduct in the proper perspective. And we talk about foolishness, we talk about fantasy, that many things that some of us we do in the name of faith are actually foolish, actually fantasy. And then love should be the guiding principles. Love towards God, love towards men. That should be the guiding principles for the working of faith. Now today we also want to look at faith working by works. Faith and works. Many of us don't want to hear that. Some people believe that just work and work and work, you don't need faith. God has given you everything. He has done for you everything that needs to be done. While they may be partly correct, they are not totally correct. And the other school of thought believes that it is actually faith. Just faith everything into existence. Faith everything into existence. There is no part you have to play. They may be right, but they are not also totally right. The scripture says in the book of James, permit me to read the scripture. Now, James chapter 2, verse 18. Yet a man can say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without your works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. I will show you my faith by my works. Then we go to the next verse. Okay, fine. We may not look at the next verse. The previous verse 17. He said, in the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accomplished by action, I'm reading the NIV, by action is dead. Faith that does not go with action is dead. And many of us, we are falling victim of this. I am trusting God and believing God for this. And then you are just docile, sitting down there. No, that's not how faith works. If you have a note of conviction that God has answered your prayer, even when those things are not manifested, you back it up with action. The woman who is trusting God for a fruit of the womb, and he has an assurance that his prayer has been answered, then go ahead and start buying things for your baby. That is action. I remember the case of a boy that I just heard that testimony direct from source. The boy was not given admission. He was seeking for admission at one of the first generation university in Nigeria. And then after a while, the boy carried his things, beddings and everything. He went to school. He got accommodation in school and started attending lectures. He had not yet received admission. That is action. But he had prayed and he has an assurance of answer to prayer. Not too long before that, his admission letter came. That is faith by action. And many of us believers, we are laid back. We are lazy enough to put action to our faith. We trust God to do everything. But the question I ask is this: do you trust God? Do you believe God to? You have food at home, uncooked. You are hungry. What do? Do you ask God, please, let the food be prepared, serve it in my plate, bring it to the table, and start putting it in my mouth? We don't do that. There's a provision already for food, and you are still trusting that God will cook the food for you. That is what most of us do when it comes to faith. And it is laziness, and that is what we want to address today. When we talk about faith and works, there is one thing we need to understand. He says, for example, he has given us the hidden for our inheritance. And so it is now meant for you to now discover what area of life, what portion of humanity God has carved out for you to possess. There's always something that God has reserved for you to do for Him in affecting the lives of humanity. You must need to discover that. You don't just lay back. And the truth of the matter is this: in discovering that and working with it, that is where your prosperity is. Enough for some of us that believe that windfall will come from somewhere. We see men of God trying to tell us, I sow this seed and then I reap harvest and all of this and all of that. Yes, it is good. It can happen. But what the scripture says that He will bless the work of your hand. The question is, what are you doing? The question is that where is that your corner where you are impacting humanity? Where is that work of your hand that you want God to bless? So wake up, go out on the street, and then do things that will make God to cause you to prosper. You will need to discover those things. So it is work. Christianity, it is work. We tend to hide under faith because we are lazy. We tend to say, I'm just believing God, I'm just trusting God, because we are actually lazy. So it is time to work. It is not wrong for you to have faith. It is not wrong for you to trust God for things. But it is an act of irresponsibility as believer if he stops there. Bishop Oyedepo once says that a prayer that makes God responsible for everything you are trusting God for is an irresponsible prayer. So what I want to ask you today is this: simple. Wake up. Wake up. Enough of believers that are docile, lazy, and believing that God will do things they ought to do by themselves. God has answered your prayer. You get up and do what you need to do. Enough of laziness. He says, I will give you the utmost part of the earth as your inheritance, and I will give you the hidden for your inheritance, and the utmost part of the earth for your possession. And you are sitting down in your room, you wake up, you yawn, and you go back to bed. No, that is not the way God will give you. He has given you the promise. All you need to do is go out and make it happen. Believers, let's wake up. Enough of being lazy. I am Ash, and I need to be Ash. I am not apologetic. Let's wake up and take the world for God, and let our Father in heaven indeed be happy with us. God bless you.